Afternoon, everybody. I'm proud y'all got to make it today. Today we're doing a dedication to Coach Dude. Coach Dude passed away January the 2nd, about 12 days ago. We didn't have much of a chance to say goodbye, so this is our way. Uh, we will not be talking any Alabama football. Not a lot of things are going on, a lot of changes. We'll try to come on tonight, maybe, and do some of that stuff. But this show is in particular about Coach Dude. If you have anything to say, want to come on the show, leave a comment, anything in the chat room pertaining to Coach Dude is what we're here for. We're sorry, but not sorry. This is purely dedication because Coach Dude would do anything for this channel and other channels too. So this is just strictly for him. Uh, Guys, we are going to bring on another guest. We're not doing intros because we're not doing a show. We're doing a dedication. Guys, and we'll bring on Van the Man. Afternoon, man.
Afternoon, Icebox. Been dreading this one, buddy.
Yep. That's why I'm stressing that this is a dedication and we won't be talking much football.
There's a lot of football to be talked, but me and you both talk throughout the week, and we just really ain't in the mood to talk about it right now. Coach Dude meant so much to us and this channel that it always seemed right to put him above all that. And I'm gonna try my best not to get too emotional today. I'm an ugly crier, but I can't help how much I felt for the man. I looked at him like a big brother. He was a friend of mine. I talked to him every day, pretty much, whether it was a text message or a phone call. We always went on each other's shows every time we went live, and I got to learn so much about him in such a short amount of time. And it amazes me that there's people that can come into your life for such a small span and leave such a big mark on your life, not only in how you look at them, but how you look at yourself, how you look at other things, because the conversations you share and the time you share together, and they can help mold your ability to look at things. And he had a big impact on me. I mean, such a big impact. And I sort of knew something was up. I'd went live with him the day the Michigan and Alabama game, January 1st. I'd went on his show for a while, and then I had to log off because I had to go to work in the morning. And then I know Waylon and some other guys that was in there, and there was several folks in the chat, that we're familiar with. And I'd text him that next morning, just poking at him about the Browns. And I didn't hear anything. And then didn't hear about, text him again Wednesday, didn't hear nothing. That wasn't like him. He always got right back to me. A lot of times he'd text me and say, "Hey, young blood, what time you get off work?" And he'd call me. I'd be on, in the car coming home. He'd call me, talk to me, and didn't hear from him. Then last Sunday's show, wasn't in the chat, didn't show up, and I wouldn't like him because he was consistent. And anything any of us were doing, he tried to show up. So I kind of had a bad feeling. And then once I found out through a mutual friend what had happened, I was devastated. I reached out to everybody that I knew of that knew him, and couldn't sleep that night, just to be honest with you. It's been heavy on my heart all week. That's how much he meant to me. This show was just as much his show as it is mine, maybe more. He added more to it than I do most of the time. He had the ability to extract information out of people without being hateful or confrontational. He could keep a conversation going and make you think in so many different directions. And I mean, our show went from being an hour and a half to being 3, sometimes 4 hours long with Coach Dude. And then we'd end up going on his show later on that night and being another 4 or 5 hours. So we never run out of things to talk about. It was impressive. He had a lot of talent, man. And I don't want to keep rambling because I know you've got things to say. But I hope people recognize not only how great he was to us on the show, but how great of a friend he was to us, how great of a father he was, because I've heard stories from so many people, how great of a husband he was. Every phone call, every phone call, he never failed to mention his family in some aspect. And when you're a man that's trying to be a better man, you surround yourself with people like that, So I felt fortunate to have a man like that in my life to kind of help mold my thinking and kind of guide me in a direction, because you couldn't help but feed off a Coach Dude like osmosis. Like you just, when you talk to him, you absorbed it. And you know, he was a veteran. He was a hero for this country. He was a community leader. You know, he worked tirelessly with kids, you know, in different sports, and he would give out advice to anybody that needed it. I begged him to do like a show where he was just giving advice to people, a call-in show. I told him, I said, we'll be famous in a month, because he always had an answer. You know, I stumble over my words. That's what I do, but I tried. But Coach Dude always had an answer. You know, it came easy to him. And man, he wore so many different hats, and was humble about it too. I mean, he didn't brag. He didn't, you know, he didn't come off as, well, I've done this and this and this, and he probably had the right to, but he never did. He was humble to a fault sometimes, to the point where we would have conversations about what he was doing on YouTube, and he didn't have a lot of faith in himself sometimes, which was crazy to me, because I would have killed to have been as smart and as talented as him. And so we would try to booster each other up, because there's a little club of us there that have no, I mean, I'll let y'all in the curtain here, I guess, behind the curtain. There's a few of us that do this that you wouldn't think it, but don't really have a lot of confidence in ourselves sometimes. And guys like that can really help you out, man. You know, he would come along and he'd call you and text you and let you know what he liked and be specific about it. And it meant a lot to me, because sometimes my brain's my own worst enemy. And, you know, when you got a group of people that really support you and really try to build you up like that, you can't replace them. You just can't. He had built a network of people that he believed in, that he trusted, and he called his friend. There's a lady in the chat right now, Keek. Met her through his chats, through other people's channels. He had built up. There's so many people. Trigger Man, I mean, he's dedications to him this week. He's raised money for his family. I mean, that was that man's brother. That's how he felt, you know, and that's how I feel too. Mothello Productions, who's been on our show before, Trill Pill, Audio Crack, the list goes on. And I apologize if I miss anybody's name. But I mean, if he rocked with you, man, he rocked with you. And there's not a lot of people in life that do. And I'm gonna let you talk for a minute, because if I keep talking, I'm gonna get upset real quick. But that's just how I felt about it, man. I love that dude. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna share this real quick, and I'll shut up. I promise.
No, keep going.
The very last conversation we had before he passed away, he was talking about, you know, what he wanted to do on YouTube going forward. And I was building him up, because I didn't have to lie to him. I was telling him the truth, because I was in awe of what he could do and how he did it. And I was building him up, and I told him, I said, well, whatever I get involved with, whatever I do, I said, I'm taking you with me. We're going to eat off the same plate. He's like family to me, you know? And he's like a big brother I never had. And I said, I'm telling you, man, I said, I believe in your talent. You could be as big as anybody in the sports world. And I truly believe that. And I still believe that. And he texted me back and he said, I love you, bro. No homo, which is, you know, that's such a Coach Dude thing to say. So I texted him back and I said, man, no homo. I love you too. And I got cracked up over it, man. I was laying in bed when I got the text message. And that was the last conversation we ever had. So I'm glad I was able to give him his flowers when he was still here. I'm glad I could tell him how I felt about him. You know, I used to brag on him about how great a father he was and how great a friend he was. Because, man, I've got people that are so-called friends that ain't never tuned in to watch me do this. I've never claimed to be good at it, but you support your friends. They don't show up. I got family that don't show up. Coach Dude always showed up.
Yep. Yeah, I'm going to say this much. I'm going to say, save what I want to say till the end. We have got some good people in the chat room. Miss Keek, I don't know you personally, but that's okay. You knew Coach Dude. You're welcome to come on here, say anything about him if you want to. We're not going to twist nobody's arm.
No.
LA Chris, Lucian, Michelle, Jeff, anybody that wants to be part of that. Roll Tide, like I said, this is not going to be no football today until later on tonight. This is strictly a show for Coach Dude. We've got some people over here that want to say some things, but anybody else that's out here that wants to, there's the link. Come on. This is strictly just for Coach Dude.
Yes.
Just Dickman. I hope he don't bring me to tears myself. Nick Saban Jr. Hey, brother.
What's going on? Every day above that dirt is a blessing, so stop that stressing. One of his number one sayings.
That's right.
One of his number one
Man,
sayings, like,
tell me them words don't ring true now. You know.
Man, like,
That's why I couldn't let all this.
Yeah. When you hit me up that night, I was like you, because it was suspicious that seeing Coach Dude on nothing. He ain't posting. He ain't comment on nothing. We had to show that day he didn't come in. It's not like him. I sent him a text later on that night. It was a dude. He was going in on Coach Sanders. And I was like, I know he gonna answer that this. I know he gonna agree 100%. And I ain't get a response. I'm like, that's weird. So and earlier that week, I was thinking like something weird right now. Something's not right. I'm like, is he okay? Was I thinking that? No, I just like, is he okay? Because like, is he taking a break or is he just handling the business? I didn't know. I'm like, is he okay? So ain't getting no response. I'm like, that's weird. You text me tonight. I'm like, and you talk to you. And when I got on the phone with you, I immediately thought about every day of the dirt is a blessing. Every day above the dirt is a blessing. To stop the stressing. Is immediately I'm like, it makes sense then, but it really makes sense. Like, it's crazy to know that. I told Van, I never met none of y'all in person, but I talk to y'all more than anybody besides my wife around here. You know what I'm saying? My best friends, like for real, seriously. Like, and it feel like I know y'all on a personal level. Like if we were to see each other now, we'd be like, man, what's up going on? Like we've been knowing each other for years. I was thinking like, how did I even come upon? How did we even start talking? I don't know if he came across my channel. I don't know if I crossed his channel, but I just know. I remember when I first had an interaction with him. He interviewed a Jacksonville kid. He had an interview, a hot interview, like on the interview or whatever. I was talking whatever, and that's how I know that was my first interaction with him. I'm like, how did I? But ever since we got across, we kept in touch. He hopped on my show today. I was doing one on my left right, and I told him he came in. I told him in the background we exchanged numbers or whatever. And I was hitting up ever since then. Like we had plans, man, for this all season, and it's still gonna go on. Me, Van, Coach Dude, it's still gonna go on because his football topics. It wasn't that he was an Alabama fan that caught the attention of me. It was the fact that he was a football guy. That's what got my attention. I don't know if y'all can hear me real well right now.
Oh yeah, I can hear you good, man. You cut out for a little bit, but you're doing good right now.
Okay, but it was his football knowledge that he knows football. And you get to talk to him, you realize he's a coach. So my dad was a coach for years, so I know how many people he has touched. People, kids, like a father. That's what hurts because
he fell out. That's okay. He'll be back. I'll say again, anybody in the chat room that wants to come on, you're more than welcome. We got another guy that wants to say some things, so we'll bring him right on. AT.
Hey guys, how y'all doing this morning, brother?
Hey, how you doing, brother?
Well, in honor of Coach Dude, it's I'll try it one time, and if I mess up, I hope he forgives me. But he always did the respect salute. Man's heart was as big as his body, and Homer, he's a military man, so I got a place in my heart for men like that. Y'all know every time we do a dedication, I about crack up, and that goes from the heart. Coach Dude was a genuine person. What you saw is what you get. Wasn't no pretend, wasn't no play, wasn't no acting. That was quintessential, essential Coach Dude. Yep. I know one night me and Icebox were talking, right. And okay. Icebox had to step off for a minute to take a smoke, and it was just me and Coach Dude. But we talked like we knew each other for years. I mean, it was so simple, so easy. It just sort of slid right in there, and everything just seemed to come so easy. And I'm sitting there talking to him thinking, I feel like I've known this guy all my life. And I mean, it's not easy for me to come up and talk like, to you, Van, or you, Icebox. I had to learn your personalities and try to figure out how to slide and fit with you. With him, it was just, just too easy. And then next thing I hear, somebody says he's passed away. And I mean, I still don't know what happened. That don't matter that does matter, but he's not here with us anymore. Yeah. And it always tells you, don't ever let your last words to a loved one be in spite or in hate. Always try to leave them in a condition that if something happens, you ain't going to be, feeling guilty. Because, that's what could have happened with Coach Dude, Yeah. You never know. And again, the guy was very knowledgeable about football. And he was a type of person, I think, if he coached you in football, it's like I had a guy, and one time I walked in and I was watching a coach, and then I didn't say nothing. He looked up at me and said, "Deuce, come here." And I'm 13 years old, and I come over and I sit down on the couch. He starts showing me stuff, on the film about how to break down film and stuff like that. And I didn't ask, but he just shared. Mm-hmm. That would have been Coach Dude. Yep. He'd give of his time. I don't know him except for the few times on here, but I think he'd give of his time to anybody that asked, or if he saw you, and having something, he would want to help. Them people are rare and very far in between. So when you have opportunity to know them, take every advantage of it. Don't just walk off and say, Alabama, because he is so much more than that. Bless you, Coach Dude. I'm gonna miss you. I ain't know you that well, brother, but you're one in a million.
Appreciate it, Coach. AT. Junior, you're back, bud.
All right. Coach Dude, he will so he will do this. Had a lot of plans. I had stuff planned up that I wanted to do, just different football topics. And man, Van, we're gonna keep it going. We're gonna keep it going for him. Like one, but I miss Coach Dude, man. The time he gave people, the time he allowed people to come on his platform and say whatever they want to say. I miss that from him, man.
As crazy as this sounds, because all this that we do is predominantly based on Alabama football. I kind of delve into other teams and other leagues and stuff like that sometimes. Nick Saban Jr., he covers a lot of teams and stuff, but we focus mostly on Alabama football. And we've had probably the most changes this week in Alabama football that we've seen really probably in my lifetime, as far as how impactful, Coach Saban was to us and the team and the community. And I haven't really give a damn, just to be honest with you. Excuse me the language, but it just hits me different right now, because I can't help but think, what would Coach Dude be thinking right now? What would we've been discussing today about all these coaching changes, about these players leaving and how in depth we had went before on the transfer portal and the NIL and how it's affecting Alabama and so it just don't mean the same to me. So I apologize to anybody that showed up today and want to talk football. If you didn't know, I apologize for that. But
no apology needed.
He meant so much to me, meant so much to this community, that I felt that this is the least I could do. The Icebox felt this is the least he could do. The first person I asked to come on was Nick Saban Jr., because that's how I met Coach Dude, was through Nick Saban Jr. And, we owed him this much because he was such a big part of our lives, such a big part of what we do. There was no way we couldn't dedicate something to him. And I'm not the person really to properly dedicate anything. I'm not great with my words. I stumble around a lot. I want to do the best I can for him today, but I know that he would appreciate that we tried because that's the kind of guy he was. So, I just wanted to get that out there that I'm sorry about that, but next Sunday we'll try to do what we normally do, but right now we're focusing on Coach Dude. And anybody that wants to have anything to say, if you don't like getting on camera, trust me, I understand. I'm not a big fan of it either most of the time. If you want me to read something you've got to say in the chat, I'd be more than glad to. In fact, Icebox would probably be the better one to do that. I don't want to put him on the spot, but he's better. He's got the voice for it. And just anything anybody's got to say or wants to be heard, in dedication of Coach, we'd be glad to get it out there.
I'll tell you what, let's do this. I'm going to read some of the comments that's already been said, and it'll go right along what's been said today. If you're wondering what happened to him, we don't know. And just like AT said, it doesn't matter, or whoever said it. The fact is that he's gone from us, and that's why we're here today. And I appreciate Joanne. She's here. She's letting us know. Appreciate that, Joanne. RIP, Coach Dude. Coach Dude, he's praying. Jeff Staples praying for his family. Rest in peace, Coach Dude. Mr. Jones. Rest easy, Coach Dude. Glad Bam Dam is doing a tribute. It's from Roll Tide. Jeff Stapleton. He always answered me, my texts. We will miss him. May God watch over him. And sorry you lost a friend, Icebox and Van. I didn't know. Rest in peace, Coach Dude. I was in that Rose Bowl chat. Never imagined it would be the last time, my last time, seeing him. Will greatly be missed. Very talented. Michelle. Keek. I know Coach on here for 3 years. L.A. Chris. Rest in peace, Coach. Lucian. Rest in peace, Coach. Van, you're bringing me to tears from Michelle. Man, speak what your heart says. Coach is listening to you right now. Roll Tide. Beautiful words, Van. I'm still in shock since Vance told me yesterday. This is from Michelle.
Yeah, I ran into her in the message boards of an Alabama show yesterday. I was trying to find people. And I appreciate that too. And I let her know she was in shock just like everybody else because I recognized that name as soon as I seen it. And got to tell a few other people that know, are friends of the show that we see in passing and other chats and everything. So I got to tell some people, and it didn't feel like the proper way to do it, but it was the only way I knew how to get a hold of these people. So, yeah, man. Every time I talk, it gets like an ice dagger, man.
William says, rest in peace, Coach Dude. You are not forgotten. Something we like to say on our dedications. L.A. Chris, very knowledgeable about the game, which is a very good compliment. Trust me, because he was.
Especially coming from L.A. Chris, because he's another knowledgeable guy with a lot of talent. I watch his channel all the time. Met him through Nick Saban Jr., as a matter of fact, because he surrounds himself with people with talent. And, that's another guy right there, man. If y'all don't follow him, you need to. I know this don't feel like the time to do it, but it also feels like the time that this community should come together as stronger and support each other. And if somebody's doing something, I know Bobby Sprinkle's got a great channel out there. I know, several of these guys get to do things, and, it's hard to watch everybody all the time, especially when you got a family and you got a job. It really is. It's hard. But, we need to make a conscious effort to support people that support us, because that's how a community gets stronger. And, that's just another thing I want to throw out there. Things are going to hit me randomly, Icebox, and I'm sorry, man.
It's okay. Nope, it's all right. I'm just going through them. Jeff, sometimes in life, people come in your life, it's like they know you forever. Coach Dude was easy to talk to, but he was real. Joanne says, I didn't get to listen to Coach Dude much, but I learned very quick that he was a very important person to this channel. Yes, he was. Very much. I love listening to him. I will miss him. I admired him. Bobby Van, you knew about when we were on the Bama Standard Network and I was there with you, brother. I knew Coach Dude. It was a shock.
Yep.
Okay, that's all that I've got caught up. AT, you got anything else you would like to say?
I'm just glad you let me come on, guys. I mean, I know this is about Coach Dude, but I do appreciate each and every one of you. You know, if you need somebody else to come on Icebox, go ahead. I'm just glad I was here to say bye to my. I didn't know him long, but again, he's one of them souls, them personalities, them characters that you just automatically, you can't seem to help to like that kind of person. You know, I mean, it's just he's one in a million. I mean, that might be a phrase, but he's one in a million, always will be. So God bless you, Coach Dude. You will be missed. Icebox, I appreciate it, brother.
Not a problem at all. We appreciate it. We really do. Junior.
That happened with Alabama football this week. Coach Saban retired. I'm like, Browns in the play in the playoffs. Like, man,
Yep.
he didn't even get to see it all, man. And I'm like, man, he get to see it all, man. His response to all this would have been amazing, man. Like, even when the Cat Williams interview happened, I was looking for him to respond and make a funny short off of something. Like, it was just so like.
When that Cat Williams interview dropped, I wanted to talk to him so bad. And at that time, I didn't know anything had happened. And I thought, man, we're going to have one hell of a show on Sunday. Because I was going to bring it up. I was going to tell him, Coach Dude, if you wear a dress to get more famous, would you do it? You know, and I was going to let him go off because I knew what he was going to say. And he was going to burn my ass. And it was funny to me, just like I would bring up Coach Prime, or he called him Coach Sanders. But I'd bring up Coach Prime just randomly, just to get him going. Just to get him going because he would get so mad. And then he would roll, and he could go an hour real fast just off the name drop.
Yep.
Man.
That's why I was sitting on that clip that day, that Sunday after the show. He finna go in on this. I know. I was like, hey, no response. Midway through the Monday, I was at work. I was looking at my phone. I said, no response. I said, oh, man, what's going on? Then you text me that night, like I said. I'm like, hold on, what? I had to call you immediately because I'm like, I'm tripping or something like. But Coach Saban retired. He didn't see it. The Browns, they got beat bad yesterday. And I know he would have had a cussing party yesterday during that show, during that game.
Yes,
I already know. I was watching the game on my phone, and I already knew what he was going to say. Mistake by the lake. He would have said, just push him straight off into the lake. He was, and then an hour later, he'd have been like, nah, I still rock with him. I was just mad.
Oh, man. But, yeah, man, Coach Dude. That was a wild day that day. When I actually found out. What I was upset about, I was like, wow, I'm just finding out today, like how long it had been. I'm like, man, I felt bad. You know, I felt real bad about it.
I did too, man.
He is going to be fully missed.
Yes, he will. Never forgotten. Yeah, there's some people you just can't forget. And Coach Dude's one of them people.
Yeah.
You know, I've had the opportunity. Me and you had this conversation. You know, we had texted back and forth throughout the week, just kind of checking on each other, seeing how we were, you know, and everything. Yeah, and you know, I know this is awkward for people, but it seems appropriate at the time. You know, there's people that I've met through this channel. You know, we used to be on CTS, and then we made the move to here. And I've only been here about 6 or 7 months with y'all. And the way everybody embraces you in this community, you know, because I started out watching it, you know, Spencer and William Bryant, the legend William Bryant, and Nick Saban Jr., my main man, Roll Tide and Rise Up, who is as talented as anybody you'll ever meet. And, you know, then you get to meet guys like Rags and Fitness. Then I started getting to be friends with a guy named Lucian, who's been on here a few times. And he's another guy. He's like a brother to me.
Yep.
And, then you get into the community side of things. And you've got people like Brittany B and George Lambert, Bobby Sprinkle. And the list goes on. That's just the people that's popped up recently. And I'm not doing it justice, but there's so many of us, I can't remember them all. Especially right now. My head is not in the game. But, it becomes a family is what it does. You see these guys and gals and other chats, and you always make sure to say hi to them. And, you end up talking to these people more than you get to talk to a lot of people that you see on a day-to-day basis, or that in your real life outside of this, you see these people more, so they become family to you. And then when you get on a personal level, when you talk all the time on the phone and text, and you start making plans for shows and this and that and other, you get to talk about each other's families and things like that. And they become really good friends. They become family to you. And I'll never understand how that works. 5 years ago, I told you bull crap. You can't know somebody that quick and become that good of friends. Because I'm kind of standoffish, I don't make friends real easy sometimes. I'm kind of quiet, and, to be fortunate enough to work with all these people on this channel and people like Nick Saban Jr., Alabama Tide, another guy who will text me and has all this knowledge and wisdom about the game and can break things down, and such an asset to what you're trying to do because you learn from these people. And they'll come on your shows and give you their time, and they don't have to because they don't need me. Ain't nobody on this channel, Nick Saban Jr., anybody in the chat, they don't need me, but they don't care to help me. You know what I'm saying? So that means a lot to me, and I don't take that for granted. And I've always been the type, if I got your phone number, if you come on my show, I usually text you and let you know, thank you, I appreciate you coming on my show, because you need people. I'm not a personality that can come on here and do it by myself. I'm just not. I'm realistic with my expectations and what I'm capable of doing. And, Coach Dude never missed a show. Once we got started, he never missed a show. And he made my show better. And I'll never be able to replace that, much less the friendship we had. I'll never be able to replace the personality and opinion and knowledge that he brought to the show. I'll never be able to do it. And so I'm saying all that to say this. I appreciate every single damn one of y'all, the people in the chat, people that's on the show right now, the people I've worked with in the past. It doesn't matter. I appreciate every one of you, because without y'all, I wouldn't be here doing this. And it's something I always kind of dreamed of doing, and I never had the confidence to do it. And so getting to work with y'all kind of put me out there. And so I just want to say thanks. It just feels appropriate because Coach Dude built a community of friends that, appreciated one another, and they supported one another. And we're going to keep that going even stronger is what I'm trying to say. So ain't nothing going to change over here. We're going to keep his memory alive. We're going to keep supporting each other. And, we're going to keep this family bond that we've all got, all of it, together. Because that's what he wanted. And that's what he was building, and we're going to continue that because he had a lot more wisdom than me, so I listened to him. And, he had that kind of wisdom. He was wiser than his years. And so when you get the ability to sit under somebody's learning tree like that and learn from them, you never forget it. And I'll never forget it.
Let me step in, man.
Please do.
The chat room, YouTube, the world owes me a debt of gratitude. I'm the one that called Van out. Van would never been on these shows if I didn't call him out. And now look at him.
Yep. Now I'm tripping over my words in person instead of in the chat.
No, it's nothing to it. I have to say this on Coach Dude. I'm like Nick Saban Jr. I first met him on Junior show. He was doing a midday show, and I kind of felt bad for Junior being on there by himself, and I tried to consider myself a friend. And so I jumped on there to talk to him, and just mess around, kick the dust. And then Coach Dude come on. First time I ever heard his voice. And the first words out of his mouth caught my attention right away. Salute, much respect, much love. That was the first words I ever heard out of him. And I said, man, I like that. I mean, I don't know the cat. I don't know him, but I sat there and I listened to him. Junior will tell you, I didn't say much at all. I'm not that way. I like hearing people. I like listening. I like learning people. And he was great for the show. And I said a little bit more before I could get off. But I continued listening as I was going down the road. And it wasn't long. I think he come on Junior's show again. And I listened to him. Next thing I know, me and Van's doing these shows, and he would come on and help us out. And it got to be to where we kind of depended on him.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know how many times I would sit here and I would post these links up, and it wasn't just for him; it was for anybody, and it still goes on today. I'll post up if you want to come on. But he would graciously come on and help our show out, and he always showed up with a big smile on his face, a good attitude, his personality just bubbling over, and he was one of those guys that's just like Junior. When you see Junior pop up over the screen, you're like, all right, this is going to be a good show. Junior's here. Rise Up, and Spencer, and William, and AT. These people I count on. Yes. When I see them over here,
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, but I want to make sure I get this out, man. I really apologize.
No, go ahead.
There's people that will let you know you did something good, and I've never been a person that worked off of attaboys or pats on the back. Wasn't used to them. Just went about my job, But there's people like you, Icebox, like you, Nick Saban Jr., Alabama Tide, Rise Up, William, Spencer, and especially Coach Dude, that would tell you when you did something good and it meant something. You felt it.
Yeah.
It was encouragement to keep going. Because like I said, I'm kind of shy, I'm not the greatest speaker. When I first met all y'all through the chat, I used to tell jokes on there a lot. And it was funny, but it's easy because I'm just typing. There ain't no camera in my face. I ain't got to talk. Mm-hmm. And so I would just tell jokes, crack jokes and talk a little football. And Rise Up, he was one of the first ones that's like, man, you're going to have to get on the show one day. And he didn't know what he started. But, I put it off a few months. I was nervous about it. My wife was staying after me. She's like, you love football. You need to go on there and talk with him, And I felt I didn't feel like I could live up to it. And the reason I didn't is because those guys I've named, Spencer, William, all those guys have got so much talent, and they're so good at not only talking sport, entertaining people too. And that's something I still have not learned to do. My real personality, I like to crack jokes and things, but when you turn this camera on and get this microphone in front of my face, my personality kind of goes down a little bit. And I think, me and Nick Saban Jr.'s talked about that because I think he's dealt with that too. And, I get shy and I clam up a little bit. And, there's times I'd like to tell jokes and do things, but I just don't know how to fit them in. And it's easier being in the chat. But being around guys like that, when they would tell you did something good, it meant something. It was like my dad telling me I did a good job. My dad meant the world to me. My dad was my best friend. I looked up to him. I idolized my father. And the greatest man I ever knew. And lost my dad, a little over 2 years ago. And I always regretted that he didn't get to see me come on here and at least talk sports, because that's all me and him did was talk sports. He was the biggest Alabama fan you've ever seen. And he grew up through the Bear Bryant era, and he had seen the ups and downs, peaks and valleys. So he would tell me stories, which really, kind of helped me have a knowledge of the school. And tell me about certain players and things that I would have never known otherwise. And when my dad would tell me I did something, it was worth more than any amount of money you could put in my wallet. And the same goes for these guys that I'm talking about. These guys that I work with, that I interact with, when they tell you something, they mean it, and it means the world to me. So I'm trying to take a little bit of time out of this show to let everybody that I work with or that's in the chat know how much I appreciate y'all, because this is what Coach Dude did for me, and I'm going to pass that on as well. If I like what y'all are doing, if I rock with y'all, y'all rock with me, I'm gonna constantly be giving you attaboys, so y'all just get used to it. I know as men sometimes we didn't grow up that way. We don't like to hear it.
Yep.
Get used to it because that's what I'm gonna do, you know. And I've been good about that. And I've always reached out. Look, right there, Jeff Stapleton. This guy that's been on my show. He could talk me into circles about football. You know, he's got so much knowledge and
He does.
a great personality, easy to get along with. He supports you no matter what. I mean, we don't know how fortunate we are sometimes to be in this community. So that's what I'm getting to in my long-winded way, is just to say thank you to everybody, because that's what Coach Dude always did for me, and I'm going to do it too.
You know, when we talk about Coach Dude hopping on shows, I had this show lined up one day. I was off work, so I had it playing in the middle of the day. It was when Kentucky was playing, I want to say Georgia, Florida. Might have been Georgia. It was somebody. But no, it was Florida. It was Florida. And this dude, he hopped on. I put the chat on. What happened was my Kentucky guy, he canceled on me because he got busy throughout the day, whatever. He got hit up with the hospital with his daughter. Understood. So I put a link in the chat, be like, whoever want to come talk to me about with me about this game. See, I'm doing this. I'm stumbling over my words. Whoever want to talk about it with me, come on. So this Georgia fan got on. Cool. Let's talk about the game. He automatically starts talking about Georgia, Alabama. This is not what I'm here to talk about. I don't want to talk about Georgia or Alabama. I'm talking about. So he rambling on, and Coach Dude be like, "Do you see the title?" He was like, "Hey, put the link in the chat." And when I put that link in the chat, he came on to save the day. I was like, "Yes, we can talk about Kentucky and Florida finally, man." Because I was like, "Yeah, I'm not here to talk about neither one of these teams. Yeah, you're a team in my team, but I'm not here to talk about them." But Coach Dude came and saved the day that day. So what I like to say about him, he was unapologetically himself all the time. He might say some stuff that may step on your toes, but it was how he felt. So it was one of them things that for what it is. If you're a man, you gotta accept it for what it is. He just saying what he's not meaning no harm intent behind it. But if he's saying what he feels, that's you gotta rock with it.
He's my professional cusser. He is. And of course, it's meant as a joke, but he was great. He like you said, he would. AT remembers just like I do. We was needing some help at night, and we all need help from time to time. And he would be the first one that jumped in there with two old farts like us and made a show out of it. That's how Coach Dude was. It didn't matter who you were, what you were. He could get along with anybody. His personality was so great, and that's why we're doing this today, because of just how he was and how he treated us, pretty much all like family. You know, that's just like I'll call either one of y'all on here my brother, and y'all know why. You know, because I feel that way. You know, it doesn't matter your age. You know, me and AT's old, you guys are young. We're hoping so much for you guys, you know, the younger generation. I'm going to say this. Are we going to continue, or are we fixing to get off? What do y'all want to do?
Hey, as long as we got something to say, let's rock with it.
Okay, well, y'all continue on. I'm going to hush for a while.
You know, Coach Dude, one of my favorite things about him is when he laughed. You know, he had like a giggle that he would do. It would crack me up. And so sometimes I would say something completely out of pocket for what we were talking about. And then I would see him kind of give me he would do the side eye, and then he would grab the top of his head, and you could hear him giggling. He'd start laughing. One of the hardest I ever made him laugh, we was live on a show one day, and he had Mothello Productions, who's a Cowboys fan on. And he had some other Cowboys fans on, and Coach Dude would get after Cowboys fans all the time because he had a lot of friends that was in Texas.
Yeah.
And they were Longhorn fans and they were Cowboys fans, and he would get after them. And that's when Dolly Parton had come out and done the halftime show at the Cowboys game. And I said, "Was that Dolly Parton?" I said, "I thought that was their last surviving cheerleader from their last Super Bowl win." He laughed so hard. Like it took him out for about 4 minutes, and then I cried. I laughed so hard watching him.
Yeah.
And it was just stuff like that, man. That it hurt. It just hurts thinking about it because he had such an impact on us in such amount of time. And I just think about, his family, and that's the most important thing is what his family's got to be going through. Because if he meant that much to us in such a short amount of time, imagine how his family feel. Because, I've got 2 kids. Nick Saban Jr.'s got a bunch of kids. We've all got kids. Some of them are grown, some of them are little, doesn't matter. And I know how much I love my family and I love my wife. My wife means the world to me. Best decision I ever made was tricking her into marrying me. I say it all the time. I married up. And, she provided me with these 2 amazing kids that made life better for me. You don't truly understand what life is until you have a family. And I truly believe that. I've been told that my whole life, and I thought, whatever. Now, when you have a family, you die for them. And there ain't a lot of things you'll say that for. And so, he would always give me such good advice that would make me think even after we stopped talking. That's when somebody's got wisdom and power, is when they can tell you something and days later it's still rolling around in your head and kind of impacting what you think and make you look in the mirror and go, I could get better at this, or I could get better at that, or this right here don't mean nothing over here. I need to focus over here. Just stuff like that, man. He was like, I can't imagine how his community feels, because all the stuff he was such a selfless person, being a soldier, being a coach for these kids. And when you coach those young kids, you don't make a dime. You're doing it because you care about them. You care about the sport. And, the sport is better with guys like that around them. We don't have enough of those people anymore spread out throughout the country to teach them the fundamentals, to look out for them, to try to keep them out of trouble. It's a 24-hour-a-day job with no pay. And we don't often look at how hard being a coach can be. And when you care about them, it makes the job that much harder, because you don't just leave when they leave practice. You're thinking about them that night. Somebody's telling you, hey, your defensive back, I seen him in somebody's backyard doing something he wasn't supposed to, or, things like that. Now you gotta worry about him. You gotta go talk to him. You gotta try to straighten him out, get with his parents, or if his parents ain't involved in his life, you gotta step up and be a parent almost. And it takes a special person to do that. Not all of us can do that. So his family and his community, man, I feel so bad for him. I can't get him off my mind. I can't imagine how his wife and kids feel, because if he was this special to us, imagine what they thought if they loved him.
Well, you said beginning of the show. Let me say this real quick. It is the same with Junior. All of us, everybody over in the chat room, we didn't get to know him very long. If you really think about it, it was well after the A-Day game. Well after. Before we actually really met Coach Stu.
Yeah.
In such a short time, what would that be? Kind of like April, so May, June, July. So basically just over, half a year, if that much, just a season of football.
Yeah.
Is how we got to know Coach Stu. Just one. And I know there's 1 or 2 probably over there that's known him longer. He made such an impact on our channels, our lives, our friendships. And that's amazing to be done. I'm an old man. I haven't seen that come across much often. I have seen it, and it doesn't surprise me none at all. And especially with him, you should be honored and privileged that this young man was in every one of our lives some kind of way and touched each one of us. And his passing has touched countless of people I know, countless. And that's just not in our community. The kids, his family. Oh Lord, I've had them on my mind too. Yeah. I know what they're going through. I've lived through stuff like this. It's terrible. It really is. So y'all keep them in your prayers, please. I don't know what else to say about him, to be honest with you. I'm going to miss him. He's a great man, and I've said it the other night. There's not many great men that I consider a great man. There's a lot of good men, but to me, he was a great man, and I know what I'm talking about.
And see, that wisdom you just dropped right there comes with experience and age. Something, I've got none of the above yet. I'm still in my 30s, don't have a lot of wisdom, don't have a lot of experience that comes to life, and I learned from people like you being around and teaching me things, telling me things, and it was the same with him. And I think it's why it has hit me so hard, because I have never in my life had somebody come in for such a short amount of time and make such an impact on me. I've had people be in my life my whole life and make an impact, sure. But in a short amount of time, nah, it's never happened for me. So, I consider myself fortunate to be one of many people that got to know him a little bit. I feel fortunate for that. It was a blessing in my life. I know I brought nothing to the table but being his friend, and he valued that. And, man, he brought a lot of things to the table on my side, though. So much stuff, man. And you could see it. Go back and watch some of our old episodes. As soon as me and Icebox do our little thing, and there'd be times where we really didn't know what we were going to talk about. And especially between the SEC championship game up until the time of the Michigan game, we didn't know what to talk about. And as soon as I'd see him pop on, I'd light up like a Christmas tree, because I knew it's about to go deep. It's about to go deep. Because I could come up with a topic. I can come up with a topic, and it's about 5 minutes worth. And I'm monotoned, and I just say what I'm thinking, and I move on, and it's whatever. But Coach Duke brought this passion, and he had these expressions, and he would get involved in what he was saying, and he would pull it out of you too. And you couldn't help but get involved and care about the conversation. And that's special that he could pull that out of you. Nick Saban Jr. can do that. He's allowed me to come on his show when he goes live before. He don't need me, but he'll let me come on. And, man, I have so much fun doing it with him, because he pulls things out of me. There's people that can do that. Icebox, the mad genius, as you've been called, can do that with people. He can I'm a guy that did not talk on the phone with people longer than 5 minutes. Me and Icebox get on the phone, and 2 hours and a half has went by, man. Me and Icebox have covered everything from raccoon hunting to fishing to what we need to do on our show to what happened in 1978 on Alabama State. We talk about everything, man. And you don't feel it's not hard. There's people that you could talk to that it's not an effort. It just flows. And man, I feel so fortunate to have got to know him. I wish it would have been longer, and that's selfish on my part. It's selfish on my part, because there's more important people in his life than me. But he's the guy you wish you'd known your whole life. You really think he would have made an impact on your life, and because he already did mine. And so, I say all that to say this, I love that dude, man. We told each other that. Of course, we'd had no homo to it. and so, I thought the world of him. I used to call him Big Brother all the time. And, man, I just feel so blessed that we have this community, that people like that can come into our lives and make us better people and give us someone to talk to and just, be involved with, because a lot of us, we're at ages now that some of our parents aren't around anymore. I'm blessed that my mom's still around, so I still have a great relationship with my mother. And like I always say, I have the most amazing wife in the world and 2 great kids, so I've got that going for me. But, outside of that, I don't got a lot of friends anymore, because when you get married and settle down, you quit going out, people forget about you. You know what I mean? Because you live different lifestyles. And there's no way I was going to bring kids into this world acting like I did 10, 12 years ago.
Exactly.
So, you know what I mean? So, because I'd made a promise to my dad that I would never work more hours than I could spend with my kids, kind of thing. Because he had to grind hard when I was a kid just to keep our head above water. And so he missed out on some things early in life, and it always bothered him. So I always promised him when I had kids, I would never do that if I could help it. And so I didn't, as an adult, you kind of miss out on the friend side of things. But I've made a lot of friends in this community. And so that's what I'm trying to say is I appreciate all y'all, man, because it's been fun for me. Because I don't have nobody talk sports to, get in the chat and say a bunch of stupid stuff, And but I've made real friends over here. And it's crazy to me because I'd have never thought this years ago. A year ago, I wouldn't have thought this.
Like I was telling
yeah, go ahead, Junior. I'm going to step out for about few minutes and you have at it. I'll be right back. Okay, guys. Be right
Like
back.
I was telling Rise Up one day, I said, somebody asked me one day, how did you meet these? And I looked at them and laughed. I said, you'll never guess how I met these people. I said, it all started with me through a TDA chat. That's how I knew about Rise. That's how I knew about it. That's how I knew about everybody. William Bryans and everybody, like, through the TDA chat. Then one day, Ray reached out to me talking about getting on the show with CTS. Cool. This is something I've been wanting to do anyway. Let's do it. Then I get Spencer when I put the bug in me because once I did one show, I was hooked. This is what I'm going to do anyway. So it's crazy like that. And people where I'm from, they're like, look at the people, like, because I'm like you, I'm kind of standoffish a little bit. Hey, I only rock with my circle. That's only who I rock with. It's so small due to when you become adults and have family. Hey, everybody kind of go their separate ways, and the people that's in my circle now, they understand it. One day you picked up the phone to call me, Van. We was texting, and you like, man, it's much easier calling than texting. And I felt that because a lot of times this how I be want to do. I just want to call all the texting back and forth. It's cool, but I can do it better just talking.
Yep. Same.
Sometimes Rise Up probably look at his phone and be like, oh, here go Nick Saban Jr. again.
I know he feels the same way, man, because I'll text him randomly because I try not to bug him too much, man. But I think so much of him. Sometimes I just randomly text him, and he'll randomly text me, and it puts a smile on my face. And I'm like, well, he still remembers me. You know what I mean? Like, because some people people don't have to reach out to you. They're not obligated to do it. So if people stay in contact with you, appreciate that.
Yeah, facts. That's facts. Yeah, man.
Alabama Tide, you got anything to say, brother?
I'm listening to y'all guys. Y'all knew him more than I did. Y'all been around a little more, but I tell you what, like I said, he's one of them rare personalities that you just don't come across in life a lot. And when you do, you appreciate it. And I mean, he come across at a time when we was all coming together, getting on YouTube and having fun and learning how to do this. And with Icebox is that same type personality that when you come across it, it's different.
Yep.
And Coach Dude was easy to get on like Icebox. He's easy to talk to, easy to get along with, and he's always smiling.
Yep.
You never, I mean, I'm sure he got professional cusser, like he said. I'm sure he got bad stuff like that, but you never felt hatred in his voice. And I think and I don't know him prior to the military or during the military, but I know if you're in the military and you come out of there, you're a veteran, you're a man of honor. I got nothing but respect for men like him, Spencer, Icebox, and Justin Summerlin. I just found out the other day, he's been in the military. I didn't know Justin was in there. All respect to him, and then, guys, it's amazing what you don't know about a person and you find out. And here's the thing. I had a coach, like I said, took me aside one time in baseball, and this is what Coach Dude would have done, and taught me how to pitch. The first time he ever saw me, he wanted me to pitch, so he took me out there on the mound. First pitch I threw over the backstop. Man, I dropped my head. I wanted to cry, and he looked at me. He said, "That's a first. Don't worry about it." 3 days later, I was throwing strike after strike after strike. That's what Coach Dude would have been. The encouragement factor, not the criticism. Not going to, not to beat you down, and you shouldn't have done it like that. I promise you, he built you up from A to Z. Word constructive criticism. He's more than that. And people like that, again, if you don't acknowledge how important they are in your life, then when they are gone, you're going, where is this? And there's this big hole that's there.
Yes.
And
already.
Coach Dude's family, I know y'all miss him, and I'm praying for you and hope everything's okay. And I remember, like I say, people like Coach Dude that taught me or coached me in football or baseball. Them are rare people, and a lot of the people that taught me was police officers and stuff like yes. So when I was a kid older and I saw them, I'd go to them instead of run from them, And I mean, Coach Dude and I wasn't on there a lot with him, but I mean, he's very rare.
Yeah.
So I respect, he does his salute and much respect and love. And I mean, that come from the heart. That wasn't an act. That wasn't a fake. That wasn't a put on. That's what he was.
He was one of them people that could see things in people that they didn't see in themselves. And I guess that comes from the coaching side of things from him. Is like he could see things when he'd have a conversation with you and he could break it down and extract what he thought was so good. And man, that's so rare to be able to have that kind of foresight and wisdom to see things in people that you really don't know on a personal basis, that you don't run across every day, and to be able to break you down over a phone call or through a show and see things in people like that, man. I don't understand it because I don't have that, and he did. And like, he was just a multifaceted guy, man. What they call in baseball, a 5-tool player. Like, he had everything. And he never talked about himself. That's the thing about it. If I'd accomplished half of what Coach Dude had in my life, I'd probably be a different personality. I'd probably get on people's nerves by bragging about this and bragging about that. No, he didn't feel the need because he was a selfless guy. And you would have to pull things out of him to get him to talk about himself. And man, like when he would tell you some of his stories, and I begged him. I told him one time, I said, if you would do a show and just have an open forum and allow people to click in like we do here and just try to help people that need advice or just be an ear to people that need to listen, I said, you would impact so many people because you are already impacting people and don't know it.
Yeah.
He had that kind of ability to give good advice and actually care about people and, can make such a huge, and people just like to hear him talk. I like to hear him talk. I would listen to his show sometimes, and I may not have a dog in the fight. I'd go live with him, and he would be talking about something that I may not have any experience or knowledge in. And I would just sit back and listen and enjoy it. It was just a pleasure to get to hear him talk about it. You got an education, Man, we'll never be able to replace that guy in our lives. In that short amount of time, and that's how I feel about it. So I hope everybody else, realizes what we had in a friendship, and working with him and everything. I hope everybody realizes what we had with Coach Dude.
Malvern, I take it that, I don't know if this is a gentleman or a lady. I came to this channel because of Coach Dude. He will be missed.
It's a lady. I've actually run across her in some other channels because Coach Dude would open me up to people that he considered his friends. And he would get me on their stuff. And then he would tell them about our stuff. That was what was beautiful about it, man. Like he would, like I said, if he rocked with you, he rocked with you. And like he would share your live on his channel. And he didn't have to do that. He didn't owe me anything. He didn't owe you anything. But he would do it anyways because he wanted to support you. He supported so many people. And I've had the pleasure over the last few months of kind of, getting to talk with some of these people. And they're great people. And I'd have never met them without Coach Dude. Trill Pill's got an amazing channel. And I've got to talk to him a few times. And he loved Coach Dude to death. Trigger Man, a selfless cat, man, and always has interesting conversations. It's a great channel. He's built a great following. And all those people were so welcoming in their chat. I would show up, didn't know them. Man, they would talk to you. They'd acknowledge you, And Mothello, I mean, the names go on and on and on. And he had built a community of people he liked and wanted to deal with. And, man, it was amazing. Like, his reach was so far. Like, we didn't understand how far his reach was. I didn't until a couple of months into getting to know him. And then, like, got to meet people through his show and we go on live with him, have conversations, and from all walks of life, and it didn't matter to him, what you had, what you didn't, things like that. Once he got to know you, you were in, and man, shit, I ain't never met another one like him. I really hadn't.
Well, I'm gonna say this. All this is strange but funny, but glad to see it happen. My part is because of Rise Up. My part of being on here is because of Rise Up and Spencer. Rise Up made the mistake one day, said something about he enjoyed me being on the show and wished to come back. Well, I try to be a respectful person, so I come back, and boy, was that Rise Up's biggest mistake here. I still am. I guarantee you, he wakes up and I wish I'd never had said that. But anyways, it happened, and it's snowballed from there with you, with AT, with a lot of folks that has built this community up, and it's a great community.
Yes, it is.
And when Coach Dude stepped in, it made it that much better. I remember Coach Dude talking one time about when he was in the military. I think he had to go somewhere. I can't remember where he went to, and said he was out there laughing, cutting up, doing his thing. Yeah, and everybody's like, man, what's wrong with you? We're being shot at, this and that. And I can't remember his exact words. It's basically, if you're going to go, you might as well go with a smile on your face, laughing about it. He wasn't scared. He was doing his thing. He was serving his country the best way he knew how. But I'll never forget that. I will never forget that. How much of an attitude of outlook that was so great. It just seemed like nothing bothered him. Like Junior said when he first come on. What did he say? Something about 6 feet above. He's above ground, so quit you stressing.
Yeah, every day above dirt's a blessing. So stop all that stress. He said it every show he was on, man, and it rings true, and it will ring true for the rest of our lives. That's something you can take with you that'll stick with you in your mind, because we've all got these times where, things aren't going right, and, you'll have things happen, a number of things happen in a row, and you just kind of get down about it, and you get mad, and you get stressed out, and you get pissed off, and you start griping. And a guy like that, he just kept going, man. He tightened up his bootstraps and he kept trudging on. That was the soldier in him. And he had that toughness to him. And that's something we can learn from, a man like that, is mental toughness and having an outlook of life's a blessing, not a curse. And just because things aren't always going your way, they will come back around, and they're more, it means more when things are going right when you've went through the bad. And so, your mentality at being tough and what you can do for others and how you can spread positivity. And, a few kind words can mean the world to somebody that ain't heard none.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to post the link one more time. And if anybody else wants to say anything, now's your time. I don't know what happened to Junior. Bless his heart. Restream is not kind to Junior, guys. It's not Junior himself. So y'all look over that. Junior's also one of them guys like Coach Dude.
Yes.
He's more than willing to help if he can. He makes any show better. He don't need us. We need him.
Exactly.
And it was the same way with Coach Dude. He didn't need us. I want you, Van, tell the story about him fixing to quit.
So one night we were talking on the phone, and he's been doing YouTube, I want to say, since like 2015, just random videos here and there, and things like that. And he told me, I texted him earlier that day after we'd done a show. It was on Sunday. And I'd text him around supper time, I guess you'd say. And I just said, Coach, man, thank you as always. I said, you always make our show better. It's your show too. And I always told him, I said, ain't my show, it's our show. It's the community show. Anybody wants to come on here can come on here. And I said, man, I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you, because you don't have to come on here, but you make everything about the show better. And I didn't hear from him for a few minutes, and then he called me. So I step outside to go smoke a cigarette, and I'm talking to him. He said, to be honest with you, man, he said, I was thinking about quitting a few months ago just because, I hadn't been doing it consistently as far as going live and everything. And, he said, I kind of got bored with it and kind of got frustrated with it and didn't really see any growth. And But we got talking back and forth. And I said, man, you've got more talent than anybody I know. And I meant that. Because Coach Dude could talk about anything. I've stated it 2 or 3 times on here, and I'll say it again. He could talk about anything and be knowledgeable about it and make you interested. That's the most important part. And he would put, little pieces of himself in everything he said. And I told him, I said, man, the only thing you need to do different is be more consistent. I said, because people want to hear you talk. I said, go live as much as you can and make videos as much as you can because we want to hear from him. Because I love to hear his opinion on things, man. It's entertaining. And so he thanked me. He said, yeah, I was really thinking about quitting before I got involved with y'all's community and some of these other communities I'm in on YouTube. If I hadn't got involved with y'all, I probably wouldn't be doing this no more. He said, y'all made it fun for me again. And man, that hit me that night. But y'all can't imagine how many times I thought about it this week. Because I admired him and what he was able to do. And don't think a lot of myself and what I do. And for him to say that to me, man, that means so much to me. I'll never forget that. Like, I will keep that in my heart forever. And, the same with Icebox. That's another guy that don't like recognition. And then I like to slide him in here sometimes just to watch him squirm.
I'll get you for this.
But I mean it, how many times Icebox, every show, I thank you when at the end of every show, I say, I appreciate what you do. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here.
All right, enough of that.
Well, I'm sorry, man. That's just how it's going down. And so
tell it, brother.
That's the kind of people we've got here in this channel, in this community. Thank y'all so much for showing up when you do. I understand life gets in the way. Sunday at noon is a hard time for folks. I get it. Between church and spending time with your family when you worked all week, I get it. But the people that come here, man, don't have to, but they do it. And I appreciate it more than you know. And he was one of us. He made our show better. He made our community better. He made our lives better. And we'll never forget him. That's a lasting legacy in my book. You don't forget somebody that made that kind of impact. And that's all we could really hope to leave behind is a legacy and an impact that we have made on others in a positive way.
And it's not just you've mentioned several people. And we can go on and on. Spencer, Rise Up William, ATU. But I'm not forgetting the people in the chat room.
No.
People don't understand that on Tuesday nights I run the board for Spencer and them. And I enjoy sitting there reading the comments and the people that are in the chat room. It even caught me one night, and kind of made me look silly, but that's okay. It's all in fun. But I was so much into the chat room. They don't realize how special they are to me. To all of us. I know it's just a show, but we have come to know them and enjoy them, and they mean a lot to us. I just can't tell them enough, how much we appreciate them, and that, if they weren't able to be on our channels, how much we would miss them also. They need to realize that too. Their flowers need to be given, Trigger Man, I think we're fixing to get off here. If you want to come on here and say something about Coach Dude, I'm going to post it up one more time just for you, in case you do.
Yeah. I met Trigger Man through Coach Dude. Been on a live with him before, man. It was a pleasure talking to him. Smart guy. But, that's how I found out Coach Dude had passed. And I can't imagine how bad Trigger Man's hurting because they had met in person. They had known each other for years, through YouTube and had built a relationship, and they were like brothers. I heard him say that, and I believe that because Trigger Man's a guy, he stands on business. He don't talk a bunch of BS. What he says is what he means, just like Coach Dude. So when he said it, I believed it and I felt it, and that hurt me too to know what he's going through, man. Because he's special. You don't meet these kind of guys every day in your life, and man, I just hope everybody in the community knows what he meant. Just a moment of silence at some point in your day to remember him. Keep his family in your thoughts and prayers and his community because he meant something to all of that. And just give him a thought, man, because he deserves the respect that we're trying to give him. You know, I don't know how well this is coming across. You know, I'm not a polished individual, but we're trying our best. We wanted to dedicate our show to him. We didn't want to talk about nothing but Coach Dude, because that's what matters right now is Coach Dude.
That's what he meant to us.
Yeah.
Well, it's been hard. I know for everybody.
Yeah.
And it's been hard to make it through this show without having a tear come to your eye.
Yep.
And I'm about scared to put this gentleman on because they might just do that. But I'm going to bring him on. Here we go.
How y'all doing, man?
We're doing okay, man. How are you doing, bud?
Salute to y'all. I don't know most of y'all, man, but Coach Dude, a friend, I think I know. I seen Van Edwards in the chat before.
Oh yeah,
Salute
man.
to y'all, man. But okay, yeah. I just want to let y'all know that I talked to his wife yesterday, and she just want to thank everybody for all the love and support. I ain't never seen this channel, but somebody sent this to me. I appreciate y'all. I'm saying that for Coach and his family, man. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, man. God, man. Much respect
Well,
to you. Man, we appreciate you showing up and saying anything, because I know how much he told me. We talk on the phone a lot, talking about sports and stuff, and he told me you were like his brother. So
That's my boy.
Once he put his stamp on you, I started following your channel. I jumped the chats, because when Coach Dude put his stamp on you, if he rocked with you, that's a real person. That's a real man right there, or a real woman or whoever. Because he didn't mess in a world full of fakes. He was a man, he was real. He was about his business. So, I've been rocking with you for a while. I don't say a lot in the chat sometimes. I just like to sit back and listen. I'm one of them guys. But I'm there, and I'm gonna keep supporting you. And I appreciate you showing up and saying anything at all, man, because he thought of you like a brother. So
yeah, I'm gonna go down there. They bury him Thursday at 11 o'clock at the military. I'm gonna drive from Dallas down there Wednesday. I'm gonna go down there a day ahead of time, so I'm gonna go see him get put down. I didn't get a chance to make it to the funeral because his wife had just contacted me at the last minute. She kind of taking it real bad, but the kids doing all right. As long as she got them kids there, them kids keeping it strong. But I talked to her about an hour on the phone, but she just thank us. But she ain't doing too good, but she gonna get it together.
Well,
when you go see him,
just let her know what he meant to us. He was like a brother. I used to call him my big brother all the time. You let them know what he meant to us. And if they ever need anything from us, to please reach out. I would do my best to try to help, because he always talked about how much he loved his wife and kids too. And I know how much I love my own. And, I know that void will never be gone for them. But if we can ever help them in any way, man, just let them know we're thinking about them and we'd love to help if we can.
Before I let AT go.
Appreciate y'all. Yes, sir. I guess today I come in peace. I ain't gonna let y'all Alabama fans have it today, man, just because dude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let y'all make it today, man. But salute to y'all. I just had to come up here, man, and tell y'all thank you. I appreciate it, man. I'm just doing that for the family, man. Salute to y'all though.
Yes, sir. Salute to
you. When you go see him, kind of just tilt your head and do a little prayer for me for him, because we love him to death.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna go live when they doing this gun salute and all that at the military thing. So if y'all know my channel, man, just come over there next Thursday, and it's at 11:15 in the morning. So I'll be doing it. I'll be there, and I'm gonna record it. Go live while they doing it, so everybody can leave.
I'm gonna try to catch it. I'm gonna try to catch it,
man. Salute to y'all. Let me get to the Cowboys. Hope the Cowboys win.
Hey,
salute to y'all, man.
Hey, Triggerman.
Salute to you too, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, Triggerman. Let me make sure you saw this. Spencer wants you to with him on information. He wants to do a date with Spencer at some point in time. I just seen Spencer in the chat box saying something about you get with him so he gets the information on it. If you can, he'd highly appreciate it.
Okay, I'm gonna drop my IG. I don't know, Spencer. I don't know if you got an IG, but I'm gonna drop my IG in the chat when I get out from stage, man, and just send it to him. I'll send you the information or wherever, to where he gonna be at and this and that.
You go.
some pictures. If you got, I've got one picture. If you'll stick around to the end of the show, I've got a video. I've only got one picture of him, of military. If you got some more, we would appreciate it, because we take our dedications very serious, and he is damn well worth it. You know what I mean? Damn well worth it. So please help us out if you can.
I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I'm tripping out, man. I'm actually shocked. I ain't know Coach Dude had this many people that they cared about him and moved around like this. Somebody sent me the link. I said, "Who is this, man?" I was shocked, man. Salute to y'all.
Yeah, man.
Salute to you too, bro.
To us, man. That was my big brother.
Yeah,
already, man. All right, don't get back to the chat.
Yes, sir.
Okay, brother. Thank you.
Very good, Trigger.
Yeah.
All right, we'll give it a few more minutes. Guys, I've come up with a video, and I don't know how well it's going to be received, but it was the best I could do, and it hurts me every time I've seen it, and I had to watch it over time after time after time to get it right. And I'm worried about showing it, but I'm going to, because I love Coach Dude so much, man. It was tough. It was tough. It really was. So if anybody else has got anything else to say, now's the time. Otherwise, I'm going to show the video and we'll get out of here.
I just wanted to say, you know, we're thinking about your family, Coach Dude, Coach Dude's family. We're thinking about you. If we can ever help in any way, if this makes it to y'all, please let us know. Be glad to help. You know, thanks to the chat for showing up and supporting Coach Dude like you did. That means the world to me. I know this ain't our normal type of doing things, but there wasn't no way we could do it. We could keep going without stopping.
Without doing it. Yeah.
Somebody that was a big part of our lives and a big part of this channel. And we're thinking about you, Coach Dude. We love you, man. No homo. And we'll never forget you, most importantly.
They tell you anything?
I can't talk.
All right. I understand. Okay. All right. Coach Dude, we love you. If you're listening, if your family watches, I want y'all to know how much we loved him. He's going to be sorely missed, and I hope this video does not offend anybody. But at this time, I'm going to play it. And guys, when I'm done, we're going to end the show, or the dedication, I should say. So apologies on that. Guys, rest in peace, Coach Dude.
Rest in peace, Coach Dude.
God bless
I can
you.
do this.
Much love, respect.
that good stuff, man. Much respect, man. Much love. Salute to everybody in the chat, all that good stuff, man.